All right, everyone, welcome back. You are with Pastor Jay and myself, T. Drake, podcasting on Another Direction, and we are here with another fabulous topic, and we're going to be talking about part two of Hunter, Husband, and Ray. But before that, you guys know what we have to do. We're going to cue the music, and then we'll jump right into this topic with my lovely co-host, Pastor Jay. We will be back.
God's gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word.
All right. Hey, Pastor Jay, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, T? How you doing?
Feeling good. We're back at it again. Here we go.
All right, here we go. So, what's the title of our discussion now?
We are going to be jumping into Hunter, Husband, and Pray. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Right, hunter, husband, and pray. Yeah, that's
Mm.
what we're going to do now. Um, yeah, hunter, husband, and pray. So, what we want to what I want to start off with was in the first part we talked about uh hunter and husband, and we talked about all husbands are not um, hunters. I mean, hunters are husbands, but all husbands can be hunters only. And we talked about the difference between the two. And basically, for simplicity's sake, so we can move forward, is some men, and ladies, you know this to be true, or maybe you don't know, that some men are better pursuers than they are husbands. And when you end up marrying somebody who's basically excuse me, a great pursuer, then you might end up in a situation where you feel alone, you feel misled, uh, you might have all kind of things going through your mind because you are truly in a hunting position. So um, right now we want to move on to hunter, husband, and pray. And now the pray is you. Now, ladies, I'm going to come at you. It'll come at you, and you're more than welcome to chime in the comment box. Has questions. It was something that I thought was quite interesting that I've been when I talk to different couples, and I'm finding out, and this is with Christian couples. So I'm talking to Christian couples. I'm amazed at the rate that I'm finding out, or the number of Christian women that I'm finding out they did not marry their husband because they love them, and I'm even more fascinated that these men did not marry their wives because they loved them. Now, ancient history tells us that marriage was for political reasons, social reasons, economic reasons, and that's the world. But God had ordained marriage between a man and a woman that worshiped him. And by loving him, they could learn how to love each other. So, what I mean by that is, if they learn how to love vertically to God, and he commits himself to God, she commits himself to God, and it goes in the order of 1 Corinthians chapter 11. If that's in place, then you will have the godly, peaceful, successful, not no problems home, but you will not have this war that's going on between hunter and prey, or husband and prey. And I was so distraught and so confused by some things that were said that I did a post, and it basically said that we celebrate when people say, I've been married 50 years, I've been married 30 years, I've been married 10 years. And then when you interview these people, and you first of all, you ask them both in the same room, would they do it again? And a lot of times, you know what I'm getting to you? I'm getting no. They wouldn't get married again.
Mm-mm.
And so I kind of question our society, like as Christians, are we celebrating time and not celebrating quality?
Mm.
Are we so enamored by the couple who said they've been married 50 years, but the past 48 have been, as they would describe it, hell or like being locked up in the penitentiary?
Mm.
So why are you still together? Because God hates divorce? Yeah, he does. But did you get married under the right umbrella of God? Or did each one of you have a motive other than a godly good motive to be together? You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
sometimes that hunter husband has captured the prey, which is the wife, but he doesn't realize sometimes the hunter becomes the hunted and the prey becomes a hunter, because I've heard women say, I didn't marry him because I loved him. Now they may throw in for good measure, I learned to love him. So then my question was, why did you marry him?
Mm-hmm.
And I get stuff like, he looked good. I thought he'd be a good provider. Um, and this is the one. They were the way of escape to whatever situation I was in, be it family or another relationship. They were the way of escape.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I've heard crazy stuff like, I saw their children from another marriage and I see they make pretty babies.
Wow.
So you have this thing where it's years down the line in a marriage. Is that the best that you got for spending that much time with each other? And I was surprised that I found many marriages where basically the husband and wife are living two separate lives and being together for the photo ops and lollipops of the family members. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, both their birthdays, 4th of July, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. So 9 or 10 days out of the year, they come together in front of people, family members, and they pretend like they're in a loving relationship, but they're just in a situation that is convenient now. And I found that was disturbing. Now, I'm just going by what I've witnessed. I can't say that this is the majority, but the fact that you have people in their 60s and 70s and been married, celebrate marriage, and then when you ask them would they have done it again with each other, and they said no. And that I find that quite interesting, because at some point these men think they're getting over, and these women have ulterior motives for marrying them, because I'm sure that some of the motives I've named, if they would told the man, I want to marry you just because you make good babies, I want pretty babies, I want to marry you because I'm getting out of this situation and I need you to get me out of this, or I'm marrying you because you're a good provider, I'm marrying you, whatever you want to put on it, other than you really love him and you care for him and you want to live a life with him. And it could be vice versa, same reason. I mean, we could switch it to the same woman too. A man not marrying you for your means, what you can do and what you have and what status you bring, or vice versa, what status you bring. One lady said it could be that the person's the life of the party. I'm like, hold on, you marry somebody because you were attracted to their charisma.
Mm.
But their charisma didn't stop when they married you, and now that charisma you hate because the same thing that you was attracted to, other women were attracted to. Now that you've been married, and then there's marriages that I've witnessed where both husband and spouse are cheating, and it is okay. I mean, for them, their kids don't know until they get grown, and then, like I say, I have a situation in particular where that revelation to the grown adult children didn't turn out too well in the psyche of the grown child or children that found out, because they thought their whole life was a sham. So, what do you think about my discovery, T?
I think there's a lot in there. I think there's a lot of different parts and pieces of it. And every time we talk about relationships, it is just fascinating how people do what they do. But of course, it's common. I think one of the things that you and I talked about was that video that I sent you of the lady talking about her talking to her uncles and how he was talking about he's running away from the wife and doing everything he can possibly do to avoid her, distance from her, going to the club, going here and there. And she's trying with all her might to talk to him, to do whatever. And he's putting up the wall and she's having a fight to just get emotionally taken care of, just get to him. And he's just like, no. And I think you made something about that. Why should she have to do that? Why should she have to fight for your attention? This is your wife. Why should she have to do all of these acrobats just to get your attention? And you're running every which way but towards her so you guys can deal with whatever it is. And that's supposed to be healthy and that's supposed to be good. What kind of marriage is that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what kind of marriage is that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you expect to get out of that? You know, and and again, it's common, but this lets you know how fallen even we are when it comes to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think the marriage part was probably talked about first. You know what I'm saying? The marriage was the first thing to fall.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship between Adam and Eve, what I'm saying is the curse that was put on Eve of wanting to desire to control your husband, that had, if that's been going on since the beginning, then you can see how we end up where we're ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's fighting for whatever reason. Like you remember, the story was the niece asked the uncle, did he love the aunt? And he said no. But he said she made me the man I am today. And she was fighting to keep him in line as he was fighting basically to be immature. Because that's what I got from it. If it wasn't for her fighting for him to grow up, he would have never grew up. And now that he's old, he is happy that she made him go up. But he didn't even say he loved her then. Now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's based his whole relationship on, because of her. You know, it could be, I got a house, I got a car, I retired from my job. And those are good things. But there's no love. And for a Christian family, that's we're the bride of Christ. We're supposed to love Christ. And the Bible gives us a whole thing in Ephesians about husband, love your wife as Christ loves the church. But so you in these so-called Christian marriages where there's no love, there's only contractual opportunity of who gonna get over on who.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or maybe we'll decide that we're both gonna get over on each other, where fair exchange is not a robbery. So I thought that was very telling in that situation, that they would even have something like that. You know, again, where's this starting? I mean, the Bible actually says, I don't forget where it says, mothers do not whore out your daughters. So if a mother tells a daughter, you need to marry that man because he can't take care of you, I mean, you go back to like Color Purple and that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Whereas these marriages are really not about love. It's about lust and material things. And you marry that person because that person can do something for you in the natural, but they may not be able to do nothing for you mental. And then that sets up the abuse, right?
Yep.
And you got that in the Bible where Jacob got tricked into marrying the sister, but stayed because he wanted to marry the other sister. And he really didn't love the sister they married, but he got tricked into it. But again, it shows that these games are being played in relationships where there is no love. You know, there is no love. Maybe lust and desire and manipulation, but there is no love. And now the question is, what is true biblical marriage? You know, how do we define it? What does it look like in 2024? Because you got to remember, I have Christian men and women saying this thing.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm not worried about non-Christians. I'm like, wow, Christian people are saying, look, I didn't get married because I love this person. You know, then I had one tell me the way they looked at it was, if I'm good enough to have sex with, I'm good enough to marry. I get that on the surface level, but sounds like you the one wanted to have sex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And your position is, if you're good enough to have sex with me, well, what about the position of don't have sex with him and see if he wants to marry you?
Mm. Yeah.
See, because at that time, if you know that that's what he wants, and you give him what he wants, he's actually become the hunted because he just wants the sex. But you done flip
Mm-hmm.
flopped it to, you have sex with me, now you gonna marry me,
Mm.
or the old adage of, we didn't have a baby, I'm pregnant and you gonna marry me. I'm not saying, there's some women who use that as the what to snag the guy, and the interesting uh, facts that I've seen is women have said that they thought that they whatever they possessed was different than what the man may have other children, and if he's not taking care of them, she for some reason of in her imagination, because she's a Christian, she thinks that this man's character is going to change and he's going to take care of the baby she has because she's so different. You know, I think that's a fallacy in an imagination.
Yep.
You
Very
know.
strange, awkward way of looking at that type of stuff. And I think I saw one of those videos where the pastor was saying, and you see it all the time too when we talk about cuffing
Hmm.
season. If you take sex out of the formula, take it off the table, you'll find out a lot sooner than later than if you guys need to even enter into marriage at all. Because things will be shown to you like, yeah, but when you get yourself entangled and you got sex in the mix, you can't see straight, nor can you understand this person is not for you because your body and all the carnality of it, you can't really understand that the person's not supposed to be with you because you got something else in the middle that kind of fogs up your mind. So you're not making wise decisions and you're not really sober minded at that time. So if people would like put that aside, it's easier for the no to be recognized and it's easier to stay out of something, then you won't have to be drawn into a prison sentence of a marriage that's supposed to be blissful and beautiful, not without its challenges, like Pastor Jay has said, but just joining into a marriage and it's turned into a situationship. That shouldn't be what you're in when you're in a marriage. There should be love there. There needs to be love there. Otherwise, why be married?
And so then that pushes people who come to that conclusion, if they've witnessed what we talked about, that pushes them into to shacking, right?
Right.
Whereas now what we're going to do, because of our experiences in watching other people in godless marriages,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're going to decide to shack, okay? And with that, that comes with its own set of problems because it's truly one-sided,
Right.
and it's normally benefits the man more than the woman. Our society still gives wives more rights than the concubine that you live with and have a baby with. Okay. So even as mixed of a society, you a wife, you have inalienable rights that he can't take away from. Thing you do is really, the court's going to look at it as a business deal. Y'all are partners with a child or children, and there's no commitment on his part. There's no commitment on your part. But for some reason or other, as time goes on, that works into a bad situation for the female. I know of a situation where, as a man left his wife, he was married for 50 years, left his wife at year 25, lived across town with his mistress for 25, grew old. So he was in the house for 25, out of the house for 25, lived across town, still married with his mistress for 25, the last 25 years of his life. And then when he died, the wife still the wife, and she got everything that the mistress thought that she had been working for to get. But the wife took
Mm,
precedence legally. So she
mhm.
got rolled hard and put up wet for 25 years. Think about it. She used up, if she started at 25 messing with him, she's now 50. So her youth has been used up, right?
Yeah.
If she started at 30 or 40 messing with him, she's now 65
Mm,
and have nothing to show for the years she shacked with him. Because the wife, of course, ceremoniously and rightfully so, when he died, she had to leave she couldn't take nothing but a broken stove.
mm, mm, mm.
And see, you think that you can insulate yourself from that kind of stuff, but when you put yourself in those kind of situations, you don't know how that weed seed is going to grow up.
Very
You
true.
don't know how it's going to affect you, ladies. It's to the man's advantage that he doesn't marry you, because then it's all a business deal by the courts. And I know you could take care of yourself, and I know you got that good job, and I know you got all these things. But you didn't need to shack with him for him to be a father. But that's for his convenience, because you still really don't have a partner that's committed to you. And now you got a child involved, and you might be less likely to even consider really leaving, because you're thinking at least he's here as the father. But you're suffering mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because he has a relationship with the daughter, but you don't have a relationship with him as his what? Mate, concubine. You're not his wife, girlfriend. I mean, I don't know what adjective they're using these days to describe that situation, you know,
Yeah.
but it's not a good situation for the female,
Right, because
you
like you
know.
said, yeah, there's no legal protections. There's nothing you can do. So when you're saying you want to take this or that, the courts, like you said, the courts legally don't see anything like that. And even the thing when people say, "Well, we're common law," that is nothing more than just shacking for many, many more years. Like it's it still makes no difference and no change. It's still not a legal marriage. And then you know what I saw just in another video, Jays, where they talk about different types of marriage. I didn't know they have lawfully married, and then they had legally married. I said, what the difference?
Okay, enlighten me, because I'm always wanting to be educated.
Well, so I was watching this. I said, it said if you do legally married, that's you go to the courthouse, you get legal documentation. Now that the state is involved in your marriage, if you get a divorce, then you got to go through the state, all of those things. If it's lawful marriage, then you get your attorney. Both attorneys sit down, they draft a thing, kind of like going back and forth, negotiating how the marriage is going to go. You both sign it, and the courts are not involved. There's nothing. So if you get a divorce, the courts won't be involved. I was like, how does that really work? But that's what they said. The
Well,
difference
unless
is. I'm like,
so unless somebody breaches the contract,
correct.
then the courts will be involved.
Right.
So it's like a prenuptial agreement. Basically, what you're telling me, it's a nuptial agreement that includes probably prenuptial stuff.
Right.
So
But
it's a
no.
nuptial agreement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what we're gonna do. We are put in contract. We're gonna split the bills 50-50.
Yeah.
There, as much detail on how the marriage. We're gonna have sex on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and every other Saturday. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
Isn't that
interesting.
crazy?
Yeah, and see again, this is man-made carnality
Mm-hmm.
to satisfy their self. There's no spiritual sacrifice
Right.
and commitment from neither party. you know, and both of them sometimes, it's interesting to see a marriage where both of them are playing each other.
Mm.
Both of them think they're getting over on the other one. But and again, the issue with me is you have lived years like this.
Yeah.
Excuse me. With my nose. You live in years like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is your norm to live in quote unquote hell and a jail cell. I don't see the benefit. I don't think God's going to reward you for just hanging in there. I don't think that's what he meant.
I didn't want to change that situation either. Like, because I remember you were talking about somebody told you that, right, God hates divorce. But if that being the case, yes, we know that. But if you do not like what you're in, why would you continue to stay in something like that? And then you want to tell everybody, well, we've been married for 50 or 45 years. But like you said, almost all of it has been a nightmare, but you want to stay in it. Why wouldn't you leave that situation instead of continuing to put yourself through the nightmare and the other person through the nightmare? Both of you split so you can get rid of this nightmare, but you want to continue to stay. What benefit is that, like you said, Pastor Jay, to either of you to continue to stay and ride this thing to the dirt till death do you part? You guys are going to put each other in the grave, and it's not going to be for anything good. You give each other ulcers already.
Yeah, well, think about this. If God hates divorce, how much more do you think he hates a marriage that's not under his control? This is not submitted to him.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. If he hates divorce, how much more do you think he hates ungodly marriages that say they're under God and they're not? They're under opportunities. Okay. The problem with America is not the divorce rate. The problem with America is what you do before you end up in divorce court. Why are you marrying this person?
Mm-hmm.
See, for there to be a divorce, they say that's the problem. That's just a symptom of a bigger problem of we've lost the biblical standard on how we should look at marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't care what the world does. I mean, the world has messed up marriage altogether because the world say you can marry, two men can marry, two women can marry, and then we know that bestiality is coming because once you're on a slippery slope, you can marry your dog, you can marry your pet. That's coming. You can marry a tree soon if you want to. Matter of fact, I saw one thing where a lady married a ghost.
Oh no!
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. A married lady say she married a ghost. She's married to a ghost. And she talks to the ghost. She said the only problem is there's no physicality. So she married the ghost, then she divorced the ghost because there was no physicality. Duh, it's a ghost.
Pastor Jay, that would sound like the one where the gentleman, he married an animated character and divorced animated character because there was no love.
Yeah.
I said, what?
What did you expect when you married a ghost? Did you expect the ghost to become a physical being that you could have cuddle time with? Come on, see, some of this stuff that be in America, that's why America has to be destroyed, y'all. Y'all, listen to me. This is such a prophetic word. America is going to be destroyed like every other heathen nation that is turned away from God to the point where we call good evil and evil good. Everybody does what is right in his own eyes, and the majority of Americans don't care nothing about God. Okay. Now, those of us who are here, we have to endure and suffer at the hands of everybody else. Only good thing we know, if he destroys America and we still here, we know where we going. Okay. That's the consolation that we have to live unless you're going to go somewhere else. But America has to be destroyed. Study the history of other nations and find out what really happened to them. What happened to the Roman Empire? They became so debaucherous. They became so sensual. They became so sexual. Just go through all the empires that have ruled the world, and you'll find out their fallenness comes from the breaking up of families. And where does it start? Husband and wife.
Mm.
redefining marriage, taking it out under God's protection and umbrella.
Pastor Jay, I had a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you have somebody that's married. So if they say that they're married and they want to fix it, their solution is to separate. So they don't want to get the divorce. They said maybe it would be fixed if I separate. Say I separate for 8 months. Will that fix my marriage? And then I don't have to get a divorce. Would that be better than me sitting there and fighting with them after the 8 months? We come back together and we can work out our differences. Would that be better?
Well, there's a lot of suppositions that you put in there. One, okay, the Bible says that you can separate. Okay. The key is, what are you doing during the time of separation?
Mhm.
Are y'all working on getting it back together? Are you coming honest with things that you made a mistake? Let's just go with the scenario. Are you willing to tell your husband that you only married him because he was a good provider? And then is he willing to tell you he only married you because you got a big booty? You know what I'm saying? Are y'all willing to be? I mean, think about it. Are you willing to be
Exactly. You gotta
honest
be
with each
truthful.
other?
Yeah, gotta be
Yeah,
honest.
this is
Yeah.
during this time of separation. Let's reset the
Mhm.
clock and be honest with each other.
Mhm.
And until you can be honest with each other from the point of getting married,
Mhm.
the chances are you guys working it out in truth is 0 to none, because you're still gonna lie.
Mm. Play cover up.
You're gonna play cover up. You're gonna go to
Mhm.
counsel, and you're gonna figure out whatever the angle is to get you back together. You'll say whatever need to be said, even in front of counselor.
Mm.
And then you get back together, and then you find out that was really never the person's real viewpoint. They just said what need to be said to get out of the situation of embarrassment or whatever it may be. So yeah, if during the time of separation y'all can be brutally honest, because you've never been that before, so it's gonna hurt.
Mm.
Some of the things that you suspected, you've never heard it, but when they say it, it's gonna hurt. Even though you knew it, it was never said. But
So when
now
it
they're
comes out
saying
their
it.
mouth,
Yeah,
yeah.
man said, I only married you because you had a good job and that you took care of me. And really, at first, you didn't require that I do anything but sit here and be with you. You know, you were blood in the water. I got you doing cuffing season. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can you handle that? Because if you're going to separate, y'all already married. I mean, something has to be worked on, and whatever the truth is, the real truth, that's where you have to start. Because any place other than that, it's not going to work.
Mhm.
But again, but we see it don't have to necessarily work. Y'all just got to agree to be miserable together.
Go
Y'all
down
come
with
back
it.
together, and the truth is, well, watch this. The truth is, we're both miserable. We don't want to be honest with each other to that level, but let's be honest with this. We don't want a divorce because we want to put on a show for everybody. So you do your thing, I do my thing. Just respect the home. You've heard of situations like that. Just
Yeah.
respect the home and respect me. Respect me. Don't now watch this. Respect me. Don't let me see it. But honor means you keep that same level of respect when you're not with me. So you're not asking me to honor you. You're asking me just to respect you. So that means, yeah, no phone calls, no nothing gonna happen at your house. But I don't honor you because as soon as I get out of your earshot, your eye shot, I'm doing my thing. That this
Mm.
honors what I say I respect.
Mm.
That's why the Lord says, you talk about me with your lips, but your heart is far from me. What he's saying to you is he says you honor the word honor, but really it's like you respect me with your lips, but your hearts do not honor me.
Mhm.
You say the right stuff, but that ain't really what's in your heart towards me. And if you can get away from me, you'll tell somebody else that I ain't tripping off her. I ain't tripping off him.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can get separated and try that. I can't say it won't work or will work. All I know is what during the time of separation, what are you working on?
Mhm.
Because you might be doubling down on staying apart from each other.
Yeah.
This is a time where y'all both agree y'all can do what you want to do. Well, how can y'all get back together if what y'all really want to do is not even be together? Why not just go and get divorced?
Right.
I had an attorney say that. He say, look, why do the separation thing when if you gonna do your thing and they gonna do their thing and y'all not gonna work on y'all's thing, just let's go and get divorced. Yeah, and that was a good attorney because he said, I don't even want to take your money, do a separation agreement, then come back to do a divorce agreement 2 years from now. Because all y'all done during the separation agreement is legally be married and still go out and violate every marriage vow you got that you took. Just get divorced and get over with it. And hold up, you're not that important. Don't think more of yourself than you should. There's people in your family already know that y'all raggedy. You think you fooling them. You're not fooling them. They can tell. Y'all don't never show no affection towards each other. Y'all barely talk to each other. They can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids may not be able to tell because they grew up with it being lopsided. The kids are always around mom and daddy's never around, but mama never says nothing. Until one day mama says something, and now that kids looking like, well, when was this going on? Well, it's always been going on. What? You know, or living separate lives in the marriages was beneficial for one or both to move up the ladder in the world, get their education, get their degrees, and get the pro their job. And then all of a sudden they get old and retired. Now they want each one to become Don Juan. And it's not going to work. Because for 40 years, our situational understanding has benefited both of us. And now you want the ushy gushy, let me hold your hand? No, that's and with men, if you train them to be that over 30 years, and now tell them you want what the mistress has, the ushy gushy part, because the mistress needs that. She wants the candy, she wants the flowers. You didn't want that, you didn't need that. You was doing your thing. Now you want it. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You know, and you just switch it up to the male side, you know. All of a sudden you want something out of her that you never wanted from her, or you got somewhere else and now you want it all out of her. Well, if she's gotten used to not giving it to you, what do you expect?
Mm.
You know, situations are fine. Again, as long as there's understanding. But we're talking about a phenomenon that I thought was interesting. Like we're going to these anniversaries, and we're just really celebrating time.
Mm.
And see, I'm the kind of person I won't celebrate quality. I don't need to celebrate time.
Yeah.
Because it gives a false illusion of quality.
Yeah, I think I like your point though that we had discussed earlier about if someone's in your presence and they are not going to treat you how you need to be treated, then they don't need to be in your life, regardless of what type of relationship they are, be it the wife, be it a friend. If they're not going to treat you like that, then you don't need to be in my life. And goodbye to you. I don't need that kind of drama in my life. I believe that to be true too. Why would you want to have people like that? Period.
Yeah, you have lived to be the Bible says 70, and I'm at 70, and that means I got 10 left. Why do I want to spend the rest 10 more years of my life fighting with people that say that they respect me and love me, and I really know they don't? Just to what?
Yeah.
What's the point in that?
Just to what? Exactly.
So they can come to my funeral and talk about how they didn't like me? No.
All of the things that says the way that people start a thing is the way that it will end up. So if you already started something incorrectly and you think you're going to maneuver it so it's going to end well, eventually that marriage, it's going to end the way it started. Very messed up, manipulated, all of those things, and it's going to end. And I realize that for some of what I went through, because some of the things you talked about, I know I was on pieces of that, like trying to get an escape from my situation because of all my other junk. But at the end of that, the way mine started too, was not the way it was supposed to start, because it was in the person was separated. That person's legally still married.
Excuse me.
So, still might ended up the same way. But I pray that when people are getting married, I pray that when they start, they need to remove the sex, sit down with each other, and really ask, why are we going to get married? It's almost like that Tyler Perry. Why did I get married? Why are you going to get married before you even get married? So you don't have to be in these long prison sentences of, I'm with her, she's with me, and we're rolling on the years. Like, you want to roll it till the wheels fall off, and this is not even going to be a good thing.
And you think God gonna say, "Good and faithful servant"?
Yeah, that's not what he's gonna say. Depart from me.
He gonna say, "I didn't know." He said, "What God puts together, you didn't get together under God."
Right. So it's already out of order before it started. It's already out of order.
You took the vows. Excuse me. You took the vows of God, but you're not submitting to what God requires of husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that must have been a problem in first century church, because why did he spend so much time talking about bride and husbands and wives, and how wives should act, how husbands should act? Yeah, how families should be.
Yeah.
Because family's important to God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, family's important to God. So yeah, it's something that I thought was quite interesting. That's what I say. Sometimes the prey, whether you're male or female, and you're the prey, sometimes you pull the reverse Uno card, and you become the hunter. And the person who thought they were the hunter don't even realize that the reverse Uno card has been played. You know what I'm saying? They don't even realize it. They think they getting over on you, and you actually getting over on them.
Yeah.
Because you know what they want. See, once you figure out what they want and you can manipulate that, then who's the real hunter and who's the real prey?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You want what's between her legs. You want her youth. And if she flips it around, is okay, you can have it, but you don't realize to get it, you're going to have to marry me and take care of me for the rest of my life. So I'm giving you what you want, and you're going to give me what I want. I want security.
Yeah.
What does love have to do with it? Nothing.
Not you pulling Tina Turner.
Yeah.
That's true.
You didn't tell me you wanted me to love you. You told me you want to have sex with me.
Mm.
And all I'm saying, and rightfully so, it's going to cost you. And what I want is for you to take care of me.
And they entered into that agreement with that marriage contract.
Robbery's not fair exchange is not a robbery.
And they both getting what they want, misery, and they have the company.
But I thought you loved me. No, you wanted this. I gave you that, an abundance of that.
Mm-hmm.
What the love had to, in exchange, I wanted this. You need to supply that. But where does we didn't never discuss love? We never discussed the Bible. And the pastors that married us didn't discuss it with us enough to pull out the fact that we probably shouldn't be married.
Mm.
He may have looked at it as, oh, I'm gonna marry them, and now I'm gonna get an extra person in the congregation, whether it's the male or the female. See, you have a lot of ulterior motives in a lot of different things. Sometimes you can spot them, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Predator prey is the law of nature. Only when Jesus come back with a lion lay down with the lamb, and the lion's gonna eat straw. That's gonna be something to see. The lamb gonna eat straw, and the lion's gonna be eating straw.
That would be different.
He's not gonna want blood anymore.
Right, chopping at the whole lamb head.
Yeah, so he's gonna want straw too. Well, we can't even fathom a world like that, but it's the world to come. You know, maybe there's no marriage in heaven because the commitment to God is so strong that if you committed to God, you can be committed to another person for a time in eternity. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, that's basically it of what I wanted to talk about until we talk about the politics, but we're gonna talk about that the next time.
Uh-uh. Oh, we're
Well,
shaking up
just
it
a
up,
quick
shaking it
the
up.
Trump the funny thing about it, Trump is every time they do something to him, it's interesting to watch because I'm not neither. You know, I'm conservative when it comes to finances and money and stuff like that. I'm liberal on some things when it comes to society and social. So I'm basically independent. But it's kind of interesting to me that the more they do to Trump, the more popular he becomes. It's like Robin Hood. You,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
That's
black
exactly
men are
what.
starting to head towards Trump because the brothers who have been convicted wrong, been
Hmm.
been pursued by law enforcement wrong, they looking at Trump like now you know what it feel like to be us.
Yeah, but people, and that is why they are rallying to his side. Like, man, he got a whole mugshot, and he understands. And then even the former President Trump is saying, "Now I know what you guys go through." Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you do,
and
because now
you
you
know
see
what
the
it would be
trumped up
great.
charges.
You know
Yeah.
you know it would be funny
What?
if Trump says something like this for all of my fellow convicts that have been trumped up charges,
Mm-hmm.
and you can show that your life has changed. I'm willing to pardon you. You know how many people wouldn't
Mm,
vote for him?
a ton.
They say since we have legalized marijuana, everybody had a marijuana charge, federal charge, gone,
Hmm. Yeah.
pardon,
Hmm.
everybody pardon. Victimless white collar crime, pardon.
Hmm.
You know, guys who've shown that they've done better once they got out, never been in trouble since then, pardon. Male or female, I want to set people free. He'd win hands down
Hmm.
because the one thing the Democrats are not doing to their detriment, they're not talking about the black male.
Yeah.
All they're talking about is the females and the
Hmm.
LGBTQ community. They're
Right.
not talking about the young black men are getting locked up every day. Black Lives Matter is the dissipated, and that was the biggest ripoff of them all.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
A lot of money and a lot of effort went into these people, the original starters of it, becoming rich,
Hmm.
and they represent both ends of the Democratic Party, female and LGBTQ.
And now they faded to black.
Yeah, well, of course they did. They got their millions.
Of course, I know. Yeah.
You know, to stay out there, they're gonna get criticized even more. So they, you know,
Hmm.
what happens with some of these people, they make their money, they get criticized for doing it, and they just drift off to obscurity. They're not gonna
Hmm.
fight about this.
To come on back into the fray, no way.
Nope.
But stay out of it.
Stay away. Don't let your ego
Hmm.
get you tripped up.
Yep. Don't let that pride. Well, I did so. Don't do it. Don't
Nope.
do it.
Yep.
Stay
Because they're gonna
out.
put another microscope up you, and you're gonna be talking about going to the penitentiary. Just leave. They talked about you. They off you now. Thank God. Move on with your life.
Yep. Because you
You
said
you
you don't
got
want the
you got
feds
your
getting in
lick.
there.
You got your lick. You got over. Move on with your life.
Yeah.
You tapped into the movement at the right time and created a movement, and you made a lot of money off of it. And now it's back to obscurity, business as usual. So yeah. So yeah, we can talk about that another time. So we did 2 shows today, so I'm proud.
Yes, we did. We got down and dirty in the muck and the mire of it all. Well, not the
Yep.
first one, but this one.
Yep. So I am done.
You're done?
I'm done.
That's all I got to say?
That's all I gotta say. I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you want to do now? You want to wrap it up?
Yep. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, go ahead, Pastor Jay.
All right. You can catch me at all podcast platforms: Spotify, SoundCloud, and every podcast platform. Just put in your search engine "Walk in Truth Radio Network." That's Walk in Truth Radio Network. You can also find us on 3 Facebook pages: my personal Facebook page, Walk in Truth Radio Network, and Walk in Truth Christian Fellowship Church. And you can also find us on YouTube, Walk in Truth Radio Network. So it's real simple to find us. We can be found anywhere and everywhere that video and audio can be found. So, uh, again, we thank everybody for listening. Me and T have some hot topics. Uh,
Mhm.
and we just pray that you will listen, subscribe to either or both of our channels, and continue to enjoy the commentary. And if you got any questions about us coming together and you want to be a guest, please get in contact with her at where she can be contacted, because I will always come onto her platform to do this. And yes, this show will be rebroadcast on Walking Truth Radio Network. So we thank those who are listening on both platforms, whether you're listening to the live now or listening to the re-recorded, rebroadcast later on my platform. So I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and at peace. And always remember, walk in the truth of the Lord.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's me, T Drake, and this is God's Get Through His Word. And you guys could check this out also on the podcast, God's Get Through His Word. And like Pastor Jay said, if you want to be a guest, you can email GG, 2Gs, THW, the number 18 at gmail.com if you want to be a guest, as well as I've been broadcasting at night on lives talking about different topics at 10 at night. So if you want to check it out, if you're up, tune in live, or you can always check it out later. But with that, I always want you guys to remember to be blessed, motivated, and always inspired to do what the Lord lays on your heart. And we're going to go out with cueing some music, and we'll be
All
out of
right.
here.
Talk to you
Bye,
later.
Pastor Jay.
God's gift.